Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to create a really small grocery store website that would be powered by Flask. And the objective here is to bring together the concepts that we have learned so far and try and see if we can create something out of it. And this is one example that we could try and do where we have a simple app where a grocery store is store just has 5 items for sale, and for each item we have a picture, name of the item, price, and then a link to add that item to cart. And as soon as let's say if I add a bunch of these items to the cart and then click on this cart link right here, we see those items appear here in a nice table. And in addition we get the that total cost for all the items in our cart. And if we for some reason want to delete or update quantity in any of these lines, then we could do that. Let's say we change the banana to 0, update cart, then we see that the banana is no longer in our shopping cart. Click back on home and we are back on this screen where we have options to again add any of these items to the cart. So pretty simple, straightforward, but it does use uh, lots of concepts from the front end to back end. And in the back end we are not using any uh, database for now to keep things simple. Instead we are going to put the data in the cache in the browser of the user. So with that, let's begin. This is going to be a long video, and in this video we would have all the routes in the app.py file. I'll try to create another uh, lesson where we have the modular approach, where we have the things stored in different locations to show how the modular approach work for the exact same example. All right, so to get started, I'm going to go in here and open the project folder. So I'm going to go to desktop and open the project folder right here. Now in this project folder, I have already created a folder static, and in that folder there is another folder called images, and within images we have all these images: apples, banana, bread, milk, and rice. So these are the images that we see here in the store. All right, so next what we are going to do is, first, before we write the app.py, I just wanted to go ahead and create the uh, on the sort of the front end of this particular app. And for that, as we would always do, we to put all the HTML files, we need to create a folder which is templates. So let's create a templates folder. That's where all the HTML files will go. And the files that we are going to create are as follows. We'll create a base.html. So that's going to be base file, and then we'll use the Jinja template on top of it to use it in other places. And for example, we can use that in the index.html. And then we also have another HTML file which is the cart.html that we just saw. So when we click on cart, this is what we see. And so that those are the three files we'll have in the templates. Then we of course will have our app.py file, and for the listings of all the products we'll create a separate product.py file. And in this file we can simply create a dictionary of all the products that we have. So let's create the products, and in this list we'll create a dictionary. That's we have 5 products, so I'm going to create 5 dictionaries here. So one, two. Let's create one, and then I'll copy paste that one. So this will have ID. Let's say the ID 1. We have name, and name for the and the product with ID 1 is Apple. And then we have the price for that. Price is going to be 0.5. We'll keep it as numeric. Then we have the image, and for image we are simply going to specify the name of the file, and these files are JPEG files, so I'll just say apple.jpg. So that is our first product information in the products. Usually this would be in a backend database, let's say such as a PostgreSQL database, but here we are going to keep things simple, and therefore we just have a list of dictionaries as our database. So 4, 5, these are the 5 products, and then we simply are going to go and change the names: banana, bread, milk, and the last one is rice. And price, we can change this to, let's say, 0.3, and change this to 1.5, change this to 1.2, change this to, let's say, 2.0. All right, so and accordingly we also have to change the names of the images. So let's call this banana, banana, this is bread, then we have milk, and then we have rice, and so on. Perfect. So this is done. Next, what we can do is go back in the HTML file, base.html, and this is where we are going to write out the HTML code, where we'll use CSS for styling. And note that the way each of the item is created, it's in a box, and if we resize the browser, it sort of changes the layout. And so that's so those are the things we are going to have in the styling of this object. So for that, first we are going to say doc type HTML. Then for then we'll say HTML language. We will set that as English. Next we have, and below that now we have the head, and then we have the body. So for head, let's type here, we have the head, that's the head, and then below that would be the body. So let me type that out. So body, and this is the body. In the head is where we are going to put all the styling things. So we set meta car set is equal to UTF. So car set is equal to UTF dash 8, and this is where we say that use Unicode 8-bit car set, and then we put the title, and this is grocery store, and this is the title that appears here in the tab, as you see up top there. Next we are going to look at the styling. So for styling, we have the body, and for body we just say the font family, that is sans serif. Next we are going to create two classes, gallery, this is one, and the next one is dot item, this is the second one. Then we have image. So for image we will to keep things uniform, we'll say the width of each image that is displayed is 100 pixels, and the height of each image that is displayed is also 100 pixels. Now the main part that remains is inside of here, which is the gallery and item. So in gallery we are going to set the style to display flex, and flex with a lowercase f, and then justify content, we say space around, and after that flex wrap, we set it to wrap. So this is, so if something does not fit on one line, it will wrap to the second line. So, and this would set it in this nice arrangement that we see here, and then for each item we are going to have a border is 1 pixel, then semicolon, solid, that's the color we are going to use, is going to be solid uh, DDD, and I'm going to put a colon there. All right, and next we have the padding of 1 pixel solid. So let's leave it at that. And then we have padding. Padding is 10 pixels. And then we have text align. So we align the text to center, and then we have the margins. So margin we set to 10 pixels, and width of each of these boxes we set to 150 pixels. So it's a little larger than each image that we have. Okay, so with that, let's, I wonder why we still have that, no, so solid. Ah, sorry, we don't need that, and we don't need that either. Okay, so with this we have the style setup. Now what remains is the body part, and in the body the first thing we are going to put is the grocery name, grocery store. And to get that cart in their icon, I'm going to paste this cart icon there, emoji, and then below this we have href, which these are the two links that we see up top. And now we use url for, and then within parenthesis index with inside of quotation single quotes. So this is going to be the link to the index, and then here what we have is the home. If we navigate back to the home page, this is how we will get there, and this has to be on the other side all the way after the double quotes. I'm going to copy this again and paste it here. This one is for view cart, and we are going to give this link a name cart, and that is this link we see here. So this is how the setup would look like for in the base HTML. And before we end the code in this, we need to specify important thing where the stuff from the HTML files which will use this base HTML, the code from there, where would it go in this base.html. So for that I'm going to type HR, and here within curly braces %, we say block content, and this is the Jinja template, as we discussed in the previous lesson. This is really helpful to sort of bridge the Python and HTML. So that's the block content, and that's the end block. So wherever we use this base.html, we can put the content right here. Right, so now let's go to the next front end file that we are going to create, that is the index.html. And now we already have put lots of stuff here and everything is ready. So all we have to do now is just use the Jinja template to put information right here in this line 19 part. Now let's look at the next HTML file that we are going to create using the base.html, and for that, as usual, we'll use the Jinja template where we create the curly braces and then 2% signs inside of it, and inside of that we will write extends quotes base.html. So that tells uh, that we need to use the base.html, and we'll end that. So after that is the start and end, so we need to start the block. So block content, and below that this is where we end block, and inside of this is the code that we are really looking to write, which is we create a div which is class gallery, and note that this gallery is going to be the same as the gallery we have mentioned in the base.html. So that's the style, and that is meant for this gallery. And inside of this we are going to sequentially put a couple of things. Let's create angle. The first thing we are going to create is the image. So image, and for this image we are going to, let me just type out image, then we have the header, h3 header, and then we have the text. So text, and let's put that in the same line, and below that is the link href is equal to. So what we are going to do now is put information in each of these. So image is this top one, h3 is going to be this apple name that you see, then p is just going to show the price, and the href is going to show the add to cart link. Now for image, the way we would type that is we say src for source, and then we specify the um, location. So for location we are going to put this entire thing inside of quotes. So let me do that there. Now we specify the URL underscore for, and here we specify static, which is the name of the folder in which all the files are there, then the file name, and the file name is in going to be again in the images folder, plus the product.image. Now what is going to happen is here we already have the dictionary created, which is the products dictionary, and so the information for the product has to come from somewhere, and to get that information what we would have to do is put a for loop here. So we'll put another Jinja template notation, percent close, and here we are going to use a for loop for product in products, and that's where the for loop starts, and therefore this entire thing goes up there, and we end the for loop right here by saying end for and close that. Now we have this information which we would like to put, so it's going to be separate for each product, and therefore we are going to create another div for that. So div class is equal to item, and so this item is, let's say, item, and close that, and this div we would have to put right before this one. Okay, so we now have this gallery which is the outer div, and then below that we have the for loop. Below for loop we have the another div called item. That div ends here, then we end the for loop here, and then the outer div for gallery ends here. This entire thing is a gallery, and then each box is this item. Now for the head, so here's how this is going to, let me just type it out and then I'll explain how. Product dot name, and then below that we have the price. And so for price, I'm going to use the dollar sign, and then we use the Jinja template to do the formatting. We have already seen this in previous lessons. So percent of 0.2f. So we have the numeric value with 2 decimal places. And then format product dot price, and finally we just put the link URL for, again this is going to add to cart, and product ID is equal to product ID. So we are also passing in this information along with the add to cart when we use the URL for. And after this we can complete this off with add to cart. That is what the user will see in the browser. So the way this would work is we have the products list right here. Now in carts, in the index.html, what we are trying to do is we are going to iterate over that products list. And in the first iteration, the product would have the value of this entire dictionary, the first dictionary in the list. So once we have that, we can then use the information in that dictionary in this particular div. So what we are doing then is we say product.image. So product.image is going to get us uh, product.image, which is the image is the key, and that will get us the name of the image file, which is apple.py. And once we have the name of the file apple.py, we can see that this path will complete. It will be static, then image, and then apple.jpg. And I said py, so that's a mistake. JPG, and that will guide the guide Flask to that exact file to display that image in the browser. Next is the name of the product. So for name of the product, again we use the key product, and key is name, and dictionary is in product. So when we say product.name, we are essentially looking at this value, which is the apple. So name, we put the key, we get the value apple, and so here the name of the product would be displayed. Finally we look at the price, product.price. We have the key price, and so the product.price would fetch the get the value of the key price and put that here, and this will format it nicely. So we have two numeric values after the decimal. Finally we are going to create a link. So this is add to cart. Product ID is equal to product ID, and for the this is my mistake, this is product.id, because again we go back to the same dictionary. As you can see here, id is the key. It gets the url, as it gets the numeric id, which is 1, and that is the value. So if I go now to this particular, let's go back here, add to cart, go back here, and so this is the product id that would be used. I don't see that used here, but uh, we are going to use it in the other places. So that is the way we would set up our index.html. Next comes the cart.html, and here is where we are going to use the id that we talked about, and same uh, part of code we are going to write. So I'm going to copy this entire thing here and delete stuff that we do not need. So this is we are going to extend from base.html, and that's the block. Now inside here, as you can see, this is the cart page, and in here we have your cart. That's the sort of heading we have, and I'm going to create that first. So h2 your cart, so that is the heading. Below the heading we have a form, because this is the button that does everything, and so we need a form that does that. So to create a form, we can say form, then specify method is equal to post. And the reason why post, because when we click when the user clicks the button, we are sending that information in the form to the backend for processing. Action is equal to within quotes we are going to put double curly braces opening closing URL underscore for, and say update cart. Okay, and then the form will close right here. Let's delete that. Okay, this has to be like this. Okay, so we create the form material inside of this, and within inside of the form we have a table. Before we do that, what I want to do here is create a button. So we create a button, and this button is going to be update cart, the one that we see right at the bottom, and this is going to have a type submit, because the user is going to submit the information using this button. So type that and delete this. So we are slowly creating the form that we need. We have the button, and below that above that we need the total, and so before we get to the total, let's now start from the top. To create the table, we use table and close that, and that's the end table. And inside of this table we are going to write the information, and the information is going to be in form of rows. So for table rows we use TR, that's the table row, and then in after that we also have this TD, where we are going to put information about each cell in there. So for table we create the border. Create the border is equal to 1, border is equal to 1, cell padding is equal to 10, and we don't need that comma there. Next we are going to create the row. We already have that tr written there, so inside of this we use th product th okay, and delete that. Then we have, so these are sort of the column names. The first is product, and then we are going to repeat this, so I'm going to copy paste this again here. The next one is price. After that we have the quantity, and finally we have the subtotal for each item or each product. Then comes the Python part inside of the Jinja template, where we use the for loop. So we say for id item in cart.items, and for now just imagine that cart is going to be some sort of a dictionary, and that is going to be stored in a session. So that dictionary is what we are trying to iterate over right now. So to do that, let me delete this for now. Oops. Okay, let's delete this. And because we start a for loop there, we also need to end it. So why don't we go ahead and type that out? And for that, this is where the for loop would end. And inside of this, now what we'll do is put information about each row, each cell. So table row, and then here we have td So that's the first one. And we have 4 cells to fill, 1 2 3 4. So we are going to need 4 of these, and so this is what we have. In the very first case, we all we need to type is the item.name, which is going to be the name of the product. Let's say apple. The next one, we simply need to put the price, and price, we know where the price is in the item.price. So we say format item.price, that's where the price is, and how do we want it to be displayed. It is going to be with 2 decimal places, so that's what this would tell. After that, we have the this quantity. For quantity, we are going to use an input. So that's if you look here, we have these arrows that increment the numbers. For that, we'll use input, and type is equal to number, name is equal to, and here we specify id, and after that we specify the value id, and missing something, we have input. I have some missing this opening angle brackets id, and then we have value is equal to, again, item dot quantity, and finally we have the what should be the minimum value, and the minimum value needs to be 0. Again, opening closing quotations, and then this would end that before we missing one angle bracket. That is what the input would have, and that line of code will get us this box where we can increment the values if we need to, and the lowest value is going to be 0. And finally, we display display the subtotal. So for subtotal is going to be as follows. We use the dollar sign, and again open closing curly braces, where we use the format, and I'll just copy this again here because that's the style we would like to see the subtotal written. Format item dot price, and that is going to be multiplied by item dot quantity. That will give us the total uh, total cost of that particular item, and all of this information is coming in from the dictionary that we are iterating over, cart.items, which is the dictionary that would be stored in the browser. I think we are about done with the front end. This will do that, and that's that. This should be good. If something, if we run into any errors, we'll come back and fix it. So we now have the products done, cart done, index done, base.html done. All we need to do now is write the app file. So for this, we know how to do this. From Flask, import Flask with the uppercase F, render template to render the template, redirect to redirect the web page, URL for, again for the same thing, then we have session, and then we have the request. And then we need to import from products, import products. That is the list that we have created here. We are trying to import that. And we initialize the Flask app by typing app is equal to Flask __ name __ app app dot secret underscore key. So we let's say we have a super secret key which is just 123, and that is going to be used by the session to sort of seal the cookie and access the information from the cookie about the items that are stored in the cart. first thing is app.route, and here we are going to define a function index that simply renders the index.html. So return render a template index.html and products is equal to products. So it does two things. It also renders index.html, and to make that happen, here we need this products list or information that we send that along by typing products is equal to products. So if all the information is there to successfully render the index.html. Next we type app.route, and in here we need to pass add to cart. That's the page we are looking for, and followed that we have some dynamic value that would come in, which is the product ID. With this we write the function below it, which is add to cart, that that has an input argument of product ID. And so now what we are going to do is a couple of things. So first we'll iterate over the products and to see where this product ID matches. Wherever it matches, we are going to pull that dictionary out and use it. So we'll say product is equal to next, and in here we are going to type a for loop here, and if it does not find the product ID, then it will return none. But for it to find product ID, we would say for p in products, if p id is equal to product ID, if it does match, then return the product, right? And if it does not match, then don't do anything. So for example, if the product ID 1 matches, then it will return this entire dictionary there. Once we have that dictionary in the product, we are going to again check just to make things make sure everything is correct, that valid products are added to the cart. We say if product, if that's true, then what we can do is get the cart dictionary from the session. So we'll ask the session to get the cart, and that's going to get the cart dictionary. If it exists, and if it does not, if the user is there for the first time, then we just ask it to return an empty dictionary. Once we have the cart, what we are going to do is go in and look inside of that cart. So we'll say item is equal to cart.get, and here we are going to do a couple of things. So first we are going to look here for the product ID if it exists, and if it does not exist, we are going to return something by default. And for by default, here is what we'll return. So let's say first we'll say if we can find the product ID as a string. So we are passing string product ID in there for search. And then if it's not there, we say create one which looks like this, product, and here we have name, and then we have price is equal price colon, and then we have product, and then we have the price, and then we have the quantity. Again we say that this is 0. This is, so if the product ID does match with an item in the cart, just get that dictionary out so that we can go ahead and update the quantity. But if it's the first time that item or product was added to the cart, then it won't have that dictionary, and so we are creating this dictionary here for us to add the increment the quantity, and that is exactly what we do. Next is go to the quantity key, and say plus equals 1. And then once the cart is updated, we put that item back in that cart. So cart string product underscore id is equal to item. So for that particular product, we just say, hey, this is the updated dictionary for that product with updated items and price. I just put that back in that cart, and that session would then take that and put that in the browser cache or browser memory or the cookie using this, using this line, and then seal it with the app.secret key. And finally, once this is all done, we are going to redirect. So we say return redirect and we'll say URL for index.html. So all of this, so the moment user clicks on any of these button, so many things have happened, but the user would never know that, because all of that has happened in within a split of second in the backend. And that is what we are trying to learn, what happens in the backend. And these are the things that happen in the backend. And we are back on the index.html to add another item. Okay, so with that done, what we now need to work on is creating the cart and update cart routes. So for that, we'll say app at app.route and say cart. Here we create the function view underscore cart, and for this we simply get the cart from the session. So just ask the session to get the cart if it exists, or just return an empty dictionary. And then for total, we are going to sum everything that's in there. So we'll say for item in cart dot values, just multiply the item dot price with the item dot quantity, and so that is what we are asking it to do. And then we sum all of them, and with that we return render template, and here we return the cart.html, which is this one, with a value of cart.html with the cart is equal to cart and total is equal to total. So if we go to cart, and here this is the cart, so that's the cart that we send in here gets used right here in our for loop. And then we have the total, which is the total, which should I think, did I miss the total? We need to show the total below here, so I missed that. So that total will show up here. We say, let's make this strong, so it will appear bolder. Say total, and again a dollar sign, open close curly braces with the pipe operator in middle, and then we say on the other side format, this is going to be item dot price. No, sir, this is just going to be total, my mistake. This is going to be just the total, and we have the percent point to f for formatting. So the total that we send in from here would show up here, where we say format total, and that should be it. Now coming back to the app.py, next thing we are going to write is the update call. So we type app.route, and here we say update underscore cart method is equal to post and that is because we are submitting the form. So if we look at the form, here it says submit, and here we say the method was post. So let's go back to this one, app.py, and I'm going to type def update underscore cart, and with a colon, and then say cart is equal to session dot get. So it's pretty straightforward. We just ask the session to get the cart. If it's there, if it's not there, just send in the empty dictionary, and then we iterate over it. So for uh, product underscore id quantity in request dot form dot items, if the colon there, if product underscore id is in the cart, then we again check for the quantity. So here we say if the int if int quantity is less than or equal to 0, is less than or equal to 0, so hold on, so it's less than or equal to 0, then cart dot pop product underscore id. So it will just remove that item from the cart. Else we are going to say cart and then say product underscore id and quantity is equal to integer quantity. We put the quantity there and then put that back in the session. So session cart is equal to cart, and then we just return redirect and then say url underscore for view underscore cart. Right, so that is what the update cart would do. We get the cart dictionary from the session, and then we get the form from the update card. That's what we get, request dot form. We get all the items. Again, imagine that that's also a dictionary, and then in there we look for the quantity. If the quantity is less than 0, that is submitted, then we just remove that item from the card. Else we put whatever quantity is there in the numeric form, and then we put that card back, ask the session to put that card back in the memory of the browser to be saved, and then we redirect back to view cart again with the underscore here. Finally, because this file would be run directly from the terminal, we need to type name is equal to main and say app.run debug is equal to true. Awesome. So this is all we have for the app.py. Now comes the moment of truth where we try to run this. So I'm going to kill this existing running Flask and cd into the project folder L21, clear this screen, and then say, now if I try and refresh this, it's going to show nothing. Now we run Python app.py. All right. So there is no module products.py, and that is true because I have misspelled this one. So this is needs to be products and not product. I'm expecting a couple of errors until we get this to run. So let's keep going. Python app.py. So another error. All right. So this time value malformed URL rule add to cart int product ID. So where is it? Add to cart in product ID. All right, figured out what the error was and have an extra space here. So just remove that space, saved it, and then go back and run app.py. Again, there is another error. Let's say it says with init method. Uh, said rule init got unexpected keyword argument method. And the error app.route update card. So this is method post. Methods. Oh, okay. So I'm missing a S there. So methods is equal to post. So again, save this little things, but there are issues. So there's one more thing I found. There was an error where I was missing. If we go to the index dot, see this image, it needs to be images because here I have it in static images as the name of the folder. So let's fix that ahead of time and run that again. Yet another error. Allowed must be a list of strings. App.route methods post. Okay, so found the issue what it was, and this needs to be inside of a list. So it says must be a list of strings. So and it tells us here how we should write it. That's what we have now. Save that again, rerun this, and let's see what happens. Awesome. Finally, we got this to work, and I'm going to copy this URL, paste it here, run this, and we have another error. All right, so this time this is a Jinja error. Encounter unknown tag end lock. I know what that is. End block. It should be end block. I'm probably missing a B somewhere. End block is fine here. Maybe in base.html. Yep. So missing the B end block. All right. So far so good. Let's close this session. Clear everything and start again. Python app.run app.py. We have that running. Go back in the browser, run this. Awesome. But still we have to fix this part where it's not showing us the price the way it should, and that part is right here in the index.html. So let's figure out what the problem is. We have the percent. Oh, missing the double quotes there. That should be okay. So I mistakenly put the quotes there. All right, with that, let's go back here, refresh the page. Perfect. Now we have this part running. So we do see the picture of the product, its name, price, and add to cart. We also see the home and cart, but in there we are missing that pipe that was there between these two. So I'm going to put that pipe here. Save, again refresh this. Right, now it is nicely separated, homes, pipe, and then the cart. Now let's try and add one item. So add apple to the cart, go to the cart, and it crashes again. And let's see why. Here it says, um, so we have get where the cart.html, HTML, HTML. So something's up with cart.html. So where we add the things. What else? We have template not found. Template not found. Cart.html. So I'm missing, and it's a typo again. Uh, Somewhere I've put card. I'm missing the T somewhere. So let's go back here. And where is it? Add to cart. Add to cart. That is okay. We are, yeah, right here. render template HTML. So again, clear that. We refresh this page, or let's close this and then run this again. We go back to the session, add item to cart, go back to the cart, and this crashes again. So this time uh, unexpected percent sign somewhere. It has to be somewhere in here. Right, figured out what the error was. This line is telling us that there is this extra uh, opening and closing brackets. We are using percent there. So Jinja template, we do not need to have those double which I've put here. Again here, let me correct that everywhere. So that's there, and so here it's correct. In here I typed it wrong. All right, so far so good. Let's again go back, rerun this, and hopefully this time we see that it will run. Copy, or just delete that, go back here, add to cart, click on cart. Perfect. So we have 3 items in the cart. Let's and that's probably because the cookie is still there. It's in the session. I haven't cleared the cache or exited the browser. If we go back to the home, add maybe banana, bread, milk, rice, click here. So we have banana. Let's go back and add bread. Add the bread. Come back to the cart. It's working fine. We get a total which is 1 plus 1 2 3 then plus 5 and 30. So total is correct. We can remove an item. Let's see if that works. We remove bread, update cart, and we can see that we successfully removed the bread from the cart. Awesome. So you see that this was a pretty long video, but I hope that in this video you got a very intuitive and first-hand experience in not only looking at how what is in the backend, but sort of doing hands-on on create building the front end, a simple front end using HTML, CSS, and Jinja templates, and then using creating a backend with Flask and putting all of that together to get a working website. The only thing that's missing here is the pay button, and I haven't included that here because it would have made this more complicated, but you could always add a pay button from any of the online services, and that will make this working template. So pretty simple, but uh, sort of working example of a website where you can put a couple of products for sale, and people can click on the products, maybe look at its description and add it to cart and purchase it from there. Cool. So we'll stop here for this lesson. In the next lesson, we will try to accomplish the exact same app or exact same grocery store setup, but the difference is going to be in the app.py file. Here we have everything here in just one file. There we are going to try and have a modular approach where uh, the different blocks of code will be in different files, and these are sort of uh, helpful if you are working on a very large project. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please do let me know in the comments below. If you found this project helpful, I'd really like to know so that I can create more such projects for you. And if you have any thoughts on the functionality of the apps that I'm trying to show in this series, if you'd like to see any additional functionalities, depending on interest, I'll try to create a lesson for that as well. Thank you, and I hope to see you all in the next video.